Hello, and welcome to Tock, always on the clock. My name is Anna, and I want you to sit back and relax while I actively try to stress you out. Okay, I was only kind of joking. Like so many things glorified about college life, living independently and working for yourself is one, I assure you, is not what it may seem. I'm sure you can't wait to make money and live alone, but as a working student myself, things aren't always sunshine and roses. With so much going on between classes every day and working at least 20 hours a week, I never have time to think. Sleep, class, work, study, sleep, class, work, study, sleep, classes, work, on and on and on and on, and I end up breaking. Am I alone? How am I supposed to find my niche in college when I feel so separated from others around me who have lives, who can go out on the weekends? Whatever problem I have, I know it needs to be fixed. But first, is this a problem of the institution or the individual? Is it even big enough to call others into it? I don't know. But what I do know is that nothing will change if I'm just alone. This coworker of mine allowed me to share her story of college and helped illuminate a few topics I hadn't even pondered yet.
Yeah, so I'm Catherine Roos. I go by Kath.
Kath worked towards her degree in electrical engineering for 12 years, juggling bills, tuition, jobs, and classes, which has taken a major toll on her health and academic journey. I wanted to know how many hours she would typically work in school.
Usually I have tried to get between 25 and 40 hours a week while in school.
What makes you want to get a degree and keep working towards it, even despite the financial situation?
Yeah, so I grew up. I graduated high school in 2008, and so the things you hear about millennials being raised on the if you want to have a good life, you have to have a degree is very much true. So there was a lot of pressure to get that degree, and I didn't really have a concept of what my life could be without it.
Kath proved to me that, well, I'm not alone. While our stories may diverge here and there, I still got this feeling of relief after our conversation. Not only am I not alone in this, but now I know that something can be done. Working is a necessity for some students who want to pave their way to success, but there are so many things in the way. Depression, anxiety, poor time management, and even just having time. As Crystal Cox from an interview with CNBC put it, with balancing her 2 jobs and being a full-time student, it was often a dilemma between going to class or going to work. There just isn't enough time in a day to support work, school, and play. Lorelai, a close friend of mine, seems to share this thought.
Okay, so my name is Lorelai Pagan.
What kind of job do you have?
I work at Target. Mainly I stock shelves.
Lorelai is working towards an environmental science degree in the WWU and Olympic College Partner Program. She's been working since 2019 and has a little bit more experience in balancing work and school than me.
And how much time on a typical weekday or weekend do you have for yourself?
I'd say 4 hours every day, just kind of in the evening, right before bed, where I can get on the computer and do whatever, or, chill out.
With 4 hours, nothing feels right. Maybe it's enough time to complete assignments, but is that all life is given us? Is it enough to get through a bustling school year full of ups and downs and feel fulfilled by the end of it? What do you think?
Are you satisfied with that? Do you feel like that's enough?
No, I do wish I had more time, honestly. It just doesn't feel satisfying because at that point in the day, I'm just really tired from work or schoolwork or going out and doing field work or whatever. So it's just kind of like I get that time, but I'm just kind of exhausted and I'm just like, oh.
Trying to find a work-life balance is a struggle regardless. And where should I go when there's nothing to fall back on and I'm just ready to collapse? How do I even reach out for help? And when you were in school, was there like any support system, like either with your jobs that you were carrying, or like what kind of support did your partners have, or like your school?
I haven't always had a good support system outside my parents saying, "Yay, finish that degree."
What kind of support like are you met with in your job or your school when you feel burnt out?
Actually, yeah, I remember one time where something was due on like a Saturday or maybe a Friday, and I was like, hey, we have labs on Saturday. I have all this other stuff due on Friday. Could you maybe just move the deadline to the Sunday, and then it'll be way better? And I know like a lot of my classmates agreed with me, and they did move it back.
Lorelai helped me see that, well, still struggling in some areas, her support systems helped her grow and learn how to manage things properly. Kath is in a slightly different situation and had to fight to make up for it. Having a comfy, supportive safety net would have made this so much easier, huh? Well, no one really directed me to where I could find one when I was born into a low-income family. I'm all alone here. Ain't no family member got any money to lend me. I've never felt so trapped in pursuit of my dream. In a study conducted by Midwestern State University called Working and Non-Working University Students, Anxiety, Depression, and Grade Point Average, 110 working and non-working students were compared. The researchers found a profound correlation between working more than 20 hours per week and a lower GPA, with students who come from lower social classes were twice as likely to work when compared to their financially better off peers. In this study, the students were tested to measure their perceived levels of depression and anxiety, in which the working students consistently scored much higher than the non-working students. How was your mental health during that?
Oh, yeah. So I did not discover that I'm autistic until I was 25. And so I was trying to deal with that at the same time and realizing, the sensory processing disorder that came along with it and how that was affecting me, and horrifically depressed, anxiety through the roof. Mental health has never been very high when I'm in school.
Oh. Crystal Cox from CNBC closes her interview with a point that kind of hits close to home.
I think that a big part of being a full-time working student is that it really affects your mental health in a lot of ways. Some days you're just so exhausted, you're so tired, and you just feel like you can't move forward.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't every college student worry about these things? Depression is the norm, and people who work in college are more likely to get higher paying jobs in the future, right? While you aren't entirely wrong, I want to address a few things. You forget these people must first graduate with all these stressful conditions. And then you must also consider that these people who need to work to live are also possibly losing financial aid opportunities simply because they're earning income, according to a U.S. News article called The Pros and Cons of Working in College. And to put icing on that cake is the likelihood that increasing hours to make up for that lost financial aid negatively impacts grades, and you just get burnt out students who end up dropping out or flunking classes simply because they were not given an opportunity to perform their best. I see. This is a problem of socioeconomics and society's unending failures to mediate the divides between social classes. The question now, though, what can be done? Kath proposed to me one possible start to progress within this cluster of problems, and it comes in the form of scholarship organizers.
I actually ran the numbers at one point on the hours it was taking me just to find scholarships I was eligible for, because that's a challenge. There's no sort on those. It's really frustrating. So like just finding them, and then calculated, how much time would go into the preparation, doing the applications, the essays, the projects, and then looked up the statistics on how often people actually win scholarships they apply for. And the math came out that I would be making an average of less than half minimum wage per time put into scholarship applications.
How's that for some math? If there were simply better organization in these conglomerators of financial aid, then more people would be able to have access to these money sources. Furthermore, I plead to the institution that brought me here in the first place, Western Washington University. Will you not develop a better approach towards income instability? On-campus jobs need higher wages. Tutoring and counseling services are not readily available to a schedule that doesn't allow for afternoon free time, and training on time management would help prepare students for how to handle these stressful schedules when all else fails. Now, if you're still here, thank you. And honestly, congrats. There's so much to unpack with this, and I just kind of dragged you along the bumpy road behind me. But I want to close with the final sentiments of my interviewees on where they feel they are right now and how they feel about where they want to be.
There's a part of me that's always going to be really disappointed that I didn't, know what I was going to do and leave high school ready to go to college and ready to pursue the thing that I was going to do. That said, I don't need to make six figures to be happy. I need to have enough to pay my bills and have a little bit of money to have fun with, and have the time to enjoy those things. And that's something that I haven't given myself the grace to do until pretty recently, actually.
I feel like I'm a little bit behind because I'm still trying to get like an internship or like environmental science work during the school year, so I'm still trying, but I think I know my efforts will be worth it in the end, so I feel pretty good.
Have their experiences caused them to lag behind? Or are they ready to jump forth into a new territory? As for me, I kind of feel like I'm behind where I want to be. I took a leave of absence last year at a prior institution in response to the astounding bill placed into my sole responsibility. During this semester turned into a year, my lone grace periods ticked away, and I realized I was just heading towards complacency. It's always been my dream to go to college, but I feel trapped under the pressure of both my job and my school, and I cannot keep struggling like this forever. For me to find the light, I need something to change. So, won't you help me? This was Tock, always on the clock, and I am your host, Anna, signing off.